next question, and last one for a while, or until you guys ask me more, right? This is an interesting one, and some of you might be very uninterested in this topic. I'm actually very fascinated by this topic because it's what I studied in college for a little bit. So here we go. The question is, are you a dichotomist or a trichotomist? And most of you are probably sitting there thinking, I have no idea what those are. And I was shocked that that one of you knew what those are. So I'm more than happy to answer this question, but it will take some background for the rest of you before I kind of go into it. So what's a dichotomist? What's a trichotomist? So these are terms that words that refer to what makes up a human being. And so this is a distinction that's made in philosophy usually, even though it's made in the Bible. Oftentimes you'll see different things that make up a human being listed, like love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, strength, things like that. And so the question is, what are we made of? And so a trichotomist is someone who holds to what is called the tripartite theory of the human soul or the human being, and that is that we are body, usually it's body, soul, and spirit. It could be body, mind, and soul, or something like that. It could be either of those formulas there: body, mind, soul, body, mind, spirit, body, soul, spirit. Some of the words are interchangeable there. Essentially, that they'll say that you consist of a mental, immaterial, not made of matter, right? Not physical, mental aspect. You have your physical body, and then there's an immaterial spirit or soul. Then there's the dichotomist view, which is that there's a physical part that makes up you and a immaterial, not made of matter, spiritual part that makes up you, and that's it. There's not a third component that they'll take the attributes that are attributed to soul and spirit, or mind and spirit, or mind and soul, and blend them together. And that's my view. And I think the Bible actually teaches this view. I defended this view in my senior seminar, which is like my big class for my college degree. Because my senior seminar was about human identity. What are we made of? What are we? What are humans? And I defended that we're made in the image of God, and that the scriptures teach that that we have an immaterial part of us that has different aspects to it. And so that's how I kind of make the how I kind of interpret all those different words that describe that immaterial part. So like mind, soul, spirit, all those words are referring to the same part of us that is immaterial, I think. Just it's referring to different ways that it functions. So the immaterial parts of us are where primarily our emotions are generated, our thoughts, our mental capacities, our logical capacities, all those things are an immaterial part, and that this immaterial part functions in unity with the physical, because the physical affects the immaterial and the immaterial affects the physical. That when you're tired, you don't think well. When you're hungry, you might get cranky, right? And so these have interconnectedness, and they work together, and we see this even in the resurrection, in heaven, when Jesus comes back, and the new heavens and the new earth are brought to be, that we will have physical bodies, that we don't float around forever in heaven as little ghosts or something. That's not the end game for the Christian, but that a resurrected body which will be void of it won't have a sin nature, but will be physical. We're not. Anyway, yeah. I was about to go into a philosophical diatribe, but let's not do that. But yeah, so that's the basic thing. I think the tripartite or the trichotomist view often comes from Aristotle, which some of you may know who he is, some of you may not, but he was a Greek philosopher. I think it comes from his influence on Christian thought more than anything else. I think that's where it comes from, and that sometimes it can lead to some interesting theological views, to say the least, among some people. Some people hinge a lot of their theology on having three different parts that make up a human being. But I think that the scriptures teach that a dichotomist view, and I would be prepared to defend that from scriptures. I tossed a few out there, but I think that you can defend that from there. So that's that question. It was a good question, interesting question. If you have questions about my answer or would like to talk about it, feel free to do that. I am more than happy to continue that discussion. So, all right, ask me more questions. Talk to you later.